this video, we want to go over finding the domain and range. Remember that the domain is a set of all inputs, or x values, whereas the range is a set of all y values, or outputs. If I had a table or a list of ordered pairs, it would be easy for me to find all of the x values and y values quickly. When I have a picture, a graph, it's going to take a little more work. For number 1, I have 5 points plotted on a graph, so the best way is to find all of the ordered pairs first. Now that I found the ordered pairs for all of the points, I can identify all of the x values to find the domain. So x values are going to be -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4. Don't forget, because we are talking about a list of numbers, I am going to use curly brackets. To find the range, I am going to find all of the y values, so 2, 0, -2, technically 0 and 2 as well, however, I do not need to repeat the same numbers, again, using curly brackets. Now, the image on the right does not have points plotted. It has a picture. It has this curve with points at the ends. Here, I am going to find all of the possible x values by using something called interval notation, meaning I'm going to find what is the farthest left point, farthest right point for domain, what is the lowest point, and what is the highest point for range. So to find the domain, the farthest left point would be -2. And I would go all the way to the right to get to 5. After 5, there is no more graph, and before -2, there is no graph. Now, because at -2, I am including the -2. It is a closed circle. I use a square bracket. Because on the right, on 5, I am not including 5. It is an open circle. I use a parentheses. If at any point I had an arrow instead of a point, I would use the infinity symbol, and infinities always go with parentheses. To find the range, I am going to find the y values by finding the lowest and the highest point. So my bottom point happens to be that 0.5, -2 again, but my top point is not even a point. It is just this top section. So I labeled the top of that point, which is 0, 1. Remember, range is your y values, so I'm going to focus on the y numbers. Bottom is -2. Top is 1. Because the 5, -2 was an open circle, -2 gets a parentheses. Because the top, there is no open circle, it gets a bracket. So now I found my domain and range.